Greetings everyone and welcome to my channel. It's time once again for another episode of the Captain's Table. This one being Season 2, Episode 5. To recap last week's episode, I had a very bad week. Basically, my week started off on a bad note right from the get-go, and at the end of the week when I finally thought I was in a position where I was going to get it all resolved and get back into what I expected to be normalcy, it got worse. This week started off with me not really knowing what to do because Monday was a holiday, a federal holiday, which meant that the HR for the company that I was hired for was not open, and B, I was so depressed and upset over the situation, and only having just gotten my PC back up and running, was not really in a happy mood to deal with all of life's complications. So, as said right at the beginning of the week, it was a federal holiday. I basically just spent the day doing nothing. Really was waiting to see what the situation with HR at the company that I was hired at was going to be. Now, I was released from work from my site, but the company itself operates a wider scope. They have multiple locations. So while they let me go from that particular site, I figured, well, maybe I'm still employed with the company and I can get in on another position within the company. On Tuesday, I sent that email out in the morning to my only corporate contact to talk to HR whether or not I was still employed with the company, if they had other openings, and express my concerns and problems with the whole situation. Didn't go into detail with that contact because, well, I don't know who they are necessarily, and I don't necessarily know if they're the right person, and I don't want to spread drama throughout the company by not talking to the right people. My email was responded to by saying, I've forwarded your email to the project manager, basically the manager's boss or my boss's boss. He never responded to me, but I did get a response back from the resource management, basically the HR management website that they use for their timekeeping, their benefits packages, pretty much all of that, grievances with the company, all of it. Didn't hear back from anybody within the company, but I heard back from their HR website basically telling me that I was terminated because the company felt I didn't possess the skills for the position. And that really ultimately just aggravated me more. Not just because they had effectively released me completely from the company within a week, but because nobody in the company wanted to discuss the situation at hand. Apparently, nobody in the upper corporate level thought that it was unusual to let an employee go based on not working fast enough or having the skills within a 3-day on-site period. That indicates to me that that is a company that I absolutely don't want to work for. And in that respect, I definitely dodged a bullet. The downside, of course, I'm unemployed. And I've been unemployed now for a total of a week. And that's a bit of a problem. However, this stint of unemployment comes at a prime time. It could not have fallen at a better point in my life, in the respect that I was expecting to have to move, or planning to move, to a cheaper location, but still moving, which entails paying a deposit, paying a first month's rent, renting a truck, packing all my stuff, all of that. I was expecting this. So I saved a lot of money to do it. Basically, I saved double the rental amount that I was expecting to have to pay, both at my current place and at a new location. As a result, I actually have quite a bit of money saved up to cover this stint of unemployment for, at the very least, a solid month as it currently stands. And on top of that, because I had worked for my previous employer, and my previous employer actually let me go before my day of resignation, that qualifies as a termination or a layoff. So I applied for unemployment. Now, unemployment is half of what I would hope for on a weekly paycheck, or about 2/3 of what I was making at my previous job per pay period, so about a 2-week period. So it's not as much as I was making, but it is doable, and if you combine it with my cash reserves saved up, I'm at the very least not going to become homeless through the end of April, more than likely. But that also does leave me in a bad position that I'm not able to move to a new location. I did, however, apply for several positions over the course of the week, and I actually got a call back from one of them that was tentative. Because I was now unemployed, I decided that I was going to branch out and basically just bulk apply en masse to whatever was within the scope on Indeed and see what called me back. And I actually did get a call back. I got a call back from a position down in SeaTac. Now, SeaTac, from where I'm currently at, is about 20 minutes closer than the job I was commuting to before. It's 10 miles closer, and because of traffic, it ends up being significantly closer overall. The position I saw, I didn't really pay too much attention to exactly what it was entailing, other than it looked like it was a commercial property as opposed to a residential property. Now, the differences between commercial maintenance and residential maintenance on a building side of things are actually pretty significant. Commercial maintenance expects you to go out and get certain licenses and certifications. Residential maintenance, basically, they just want in-house painting. They want somebody who can do in-house things that aren't overly excessive, that a contractor would charge several $100s to do, but they expect you to do it in the same length of time for about half as much. Partly because they don't expect you to have to do it constantly, which was, looking back on it, one of the reasons that I didn't do well at the job that I thought I was taking. Partly, again, because they wanted a contractor in-house, and I thought I was taking a maintenance supervisor position. But I go into more detail in last week's episode on that matter. So in this particular case, I got called up from the operations director for the company for this position. And he talked to me a little bit about what it is. And the position that I interviewed for was for not just commercial building maintenance, but specifically for commercial car wash maintenance. Think about this. You know those automatic car washes you go through at places like Costco, and they're, you know, spread about throughout the country. You drive your car up, clicks into the system, or maybe you just slowly drive the car through. It's a job that's maintenance on those systems. So a lot more skill-based, a lot more technical certifications required for that. And at first, when the guy called me up to schedule an interview with me, both a phone interview and an in-person interview, I went back and I looked up the company that I'd applied for. And I actually looked at the job and the requirements and the stipulations, and I thought, holy crap, I applied for a position that I'm woefully unqualified for. And given previous week's episode regarding the I don't want to get blindsided again and work for a week and get fired, when I called the guy back, and I did decide to call the guy back for the interview because well, might as well take the chance, right? Sometimes the universe throws shit at you, and it really just wants you to change your direction, so it gives you a reason to do so. So I called the guy back, and I talked to him, and he explained the job position, and I explained that I didn't have experience in commercial car wash maintenance. And his response was fantastic. It was basically, I've looked at your resume, and I can see that. That's not why I'm calling you back. We've had a lot of great success pulling people from other similar fields and training them up for this job. And if you're willing to put in the effort to get the training, then you probably do very well in this position. And I said yes. So I went out and I had the in-person interview. I took a look at things, and apparently I made enough of an impression on the people. The facilities manager, the operations director, who was actually, both of them were Skyping in from other parts of the country, and the maintenance supervisor who was there, that they wanted to continue forward with the interview. So I have a second interview with the president and vice president of the company here on Monday, and I'm looking forward to it. I don't know what the pay specifically would be in this situation, but I do know that I asked for the barest minimum for this job given the technical certifications and expectations in the position, and they told me that that would not be a problem. In fact, the job posting was for several dollars more an hour than I said would be my minimum. So going in here, if they talk to me again and they offer the position and they want to know the salary requirements, I might up it just a little bit to see what they're willing to offer me in this respect. But of course, it would require a lot of additional training. The good news is, it isn't stuff that I'm not unfamiliar with. It's just been a long time since I've had the lingo thrown at me for things like logic bridges. The control panels for the car wash are all phase 3 power, but they're also basically all logic bridges, and it's been a long time since I've had that kind of stuff tossed at me. And when I mean a long time, I mean it was high school. I took electronics classes in high school that focused heavily on this type of stuff. So in that respect, I'm kind of going back to what I learned and enjoyed in high school, if it moves forward. And I kind of hope it does move forward, because the position would be wonderful if I got it. Additionally, the commute would be a lot quicker, and if I got it for the minimum that I asked for, that I would be willing to work at, that's actually more than I was making at the last job that I had that they let me go from. Which would mean, especially given this current stint of unemployment and the amount of money that I've had to spend in the last week, potentially 2 here, that I'm probably going to end up staying right where I'm at. Which is good for all of you, because it means there's going to be no interruption or delay going forward in the World of Warships content. So that's basically been my last week. Now, I've gotten back into and played pretty heavily some more World of Warships action. I've had some great games, as you can see by the clips that were at the beginning of the video. Had some great shots and great battles that popped up there while playing in a division, while playing in solo. Hell, just the other day, I had a wonderful battle where I actually ended up in the Yu Yang with about 512 health left. That's in the Yu Yang with a 22,000 max health total. 512 health left, and it came down to me, a Shimakaze, a Yugamo, and a Kurfürst. And between the three of us, we had maybe 30,000 health left. And we had one enemy Fletcher left on the enemy team. Just one Fletcher. I can't torpedo him. I'm in the Yu Yang, deep water torpedo, so my torps are worthless. There's no point in even trying them. I also don't have the health left to go and engage this guy. If it was full health, yeah, I'd be rushing right up there to expose him, to pop him, whatever. Our Shimakaze had the health initially, and he did push up and he spotted the guy, and the guy had about 10k health left. Well, Fletcher versus Shimakaze. Full strength Shima, half strength Fletcher. Fletcher's gonna win that engagement, hands down, and he did, in fact, start winning that engagement, forcing our Shima to back off. But the good news here is that our Yugamo was actually full strength. Now me, with our 512 health, and our Kurfürst had about 6,000 health. So both of us are basically on our last legs. I mean, we get hit by anything and we're dead. I was kind of hoping the Yugamo would push up and engage the Fletcher, but the Yugamo seemed to want to go take the long route. And at the situation at the end of the battle, Yugamo, well, he's got himself into a position where, yeah, he might be able to engage him, but I would much rather the Yugamo go and cap the A cap point on Ice Islands. But no, he's closer to the B cap point, which is where the Fletcher is. And of course, the Fletcher at the B cap point holds the A and B cap points. Now, he is behind on points by 100, but all he's got to do is kill the Shimakaze, which is doable, because now the Shima's low health, and kill me, which is doable, because only he needs to land like 2 hits to finish me off. Hell, 1 hit would do it. And that would shift the points balance in his favor. But as I push up there, Shimakaze engages, spots him again, engages him. The Fletcher's shooting at him, and I'm pushing up there. I'm not going to let the Shima die. And I decide I'm going to open up while the Fletcher's distracted, because he's down to about 2,000, 3,000 health now, and try and get those shots out, because I know I can get at least 2, 3 salvos out before he shifts fire to me. And even if I die, I can put him down so that our Yugamo can finish him off. And the Yugamo, with its lower detection range, should be able to get the first shots off if that's the case. Sure enough, though, I do engage him. He does shift focus to me. I don't quite land the killing blows on him, but drop him down to like 500 health with me. Fortunately for me, his shots miss. And I think our Shimakaze actually scored the kill. But that guy at the end of that battle was the top of the team on his team for XP earned. He had 1,800 base XP on a loss. On a loss. To give you an idea, I think I had 1,900 base XP on the winning team. And the next guy was the Shima, who had 1,800 base XP. And that guy had like 1,850 base XP. So he was second in the game for XP earned on a loss. He really did carry. Sent him a clan invite. He agreed to join. So now I've got yet another fantastic Fletcher player. If he can continue to play like that, and who knows, with clanmates, even more so, to carry the team home. So we'll see. That kind of a positive note for the week with World of Warships at the very least, especially if you've watched any of my live streams this week. I've done 2 of them. They haven't been the best situation. Then again, it's also the weekend, and potato teams are abound. Looking forward to next week. Interview with a new position in a new career field overall. Potentially better pay, better opportunities in the long run. Really looking forward to that. Hope I get it. In the meantime, still mass applying for maintenance positions, and again, I'm branching out there now. I'm just going maintenance related. Put my resume out. Who knows? Maybe I'll get it. But at the very least, I'm not in a terrible position in the respect that I do have some money saved up and available to cover my rent for the next month, expenses, utilities, all of that, and provided that unemployment actually goes through and I get paid by them, at the very least, I can continue to survive through April if I have to. But I'm hoping that isn't the case. Of course, granted, at the current rate things are going, in 2 more weeks, if I still haven't found anything, I'll just apply for tech positions that are basically what I was making before. Because at the very least, I know then I can subsist off of that, albeit barely. So that's it for today's episode of the Captain's Table. If you like the video, hit that like button. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think. If you've got any contacts in maintenance or related fields here in the Pacific Northwest, don't be afraid to let me know. I'd be happy to hear from you. And I'd be more than happy to apply an interview. Hell, I'm willing to even relocate, provided that it's in Washington State, because I don't want to go somewhere else. Or, to be fair, have the means to go somewhere else in that respect. And as always, I'll see you next time. This is Captain Rye, signing off.